Have you ever stood before a challenge so big that it felt impossible to overcome? That's how Daniel, a young man from a quiet village, felt every time he looked at the towering mountain that overshadowed his home. The mountain wasn't just rock and soil, it was a symbol of everything that seemed out of reach. For Daniel, it represented his dreams. From a young age, Daniel wanted to be more than just another farmer in the village. He dreamed of becoming a builder, someone who could shape stone and wood into homes, bridges, and roads that would last for generations. But in his small village, where survival depended on farming, people mocked such dreams. "Stop wasting your time," they would tell him. "Stick to the fields like everyone else." But Daniel remembered something his father had once told him: there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. Those words became his guiding star. By day, Daniel worked in the fields like everyone else. But when the sun went down and others rested, he would light a small lantern and practice. He stacked stones, measured wood, and tried to design simple structures. His first attempts were disasters. Walls crumbled within hours. Bridges collapsed before they were half done. Failure after failure would have broken most people, but Daniel understood another truth: hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. He wasn't the most skilled at the start, but he was the most determined. Each mistake taught him something new. He refused to stop, even when his hands grew blistered and his clothes wore thin. When people asked him why he kept pushing himself, his answer was simple: dreams don't work unless you do. Years passed, and one night a terrible storm struck the village. The winds howled, rain poured endlessly, and houses that had stood for decades crumbled under nature's force. Roads were washed away, and bridges split apart. By morning, the village was in ruins. Fear spread quickly. Families were left homeless. Farmers worried about how they would rebuild. That's when all eyes turned to Daniel, the same man they once mocked for wasting his time. This was his moment. With steady hands and calm determination, Daniel got to work. He built shelters first, using strong foundations that wouldn't fall. Then he began repairing bridges, ensuring they could hold the weight of people and wagons. His roads were not just rebuilt, they were improved. Slowly but surely, the village came back to life. For the first time, the villagers realized the value of his years of hard work. His sacrifices, his countless nights of practice, had prepared him for this very moment. When the storm was over and the village stood stronger than before, Daniel climbed a hill and looked at the great mountain that had once seemed so intimidating. Strangely, it didn't look as large as it once had. That's when he whispered another truth he had learned through his journey: success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. The mountain hadn't changed. What had changed was Daniel. Through years of effort, failures, and persistence, he had grown strong enough to face it. Daniel's story is more than just a tale about building houses. It's about building character, resilience, and faith in hard work. He proved that success isn't about luck, or about being born with natural talent, it's about persistence. It's about showing up every single day, even when no one believes in you. The villagers eventually asked him what kept him going when it would have been easier to quit. Daniel simply smiled and said, "There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Dreams don't work unless you do. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out." Like Daniel, we all face mountains in our lives, dreams that feel too big, challenges that seem too hard, and failures that make us want to quit. But Daniel's story reminds us that those mountains are not there to stop us. They are there to make us stronger. Every time you put in the work, whether it's studying late, training your body, practicing your craft, or building your business, you're stacking small stones just like Daniel did. At first, the walls may crumble, but one day, those same walls will stand tall and protect others. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember Daniel and his mountain. Remember that success is not about rushing, but about persistence. Remember the wisdom in his words, and choose to keep working hard, even when no one is watching, because at the end of the day, it's not the mountain that becomes smaller, it's you who become stronger. This is Patrick the Motivator. Follow FO more motivation stories every day. My God bless you all.